Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Big P here. You know, don't you? You know, the voice of hardcore boxing. Today I'm joined by my good friend Terry from London, who's fasting. How are you doing, Terry?
Man, I'm good. Do they really know? Is this why they tune in? They tune in for the Porkmeister?
The Porkmeister.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
67% halal porky.
You know, it makes sense, don't you? Wait, there's straight in with it. No messing about. Enthralling is the name of the video. We know we uses that word a lot, don't we? Beanie.
It's what?
No. I'm just gonna go straight in with these two here. Why is Hatman, right, saying Sky isn't good value anymore? And he wants to see Adam Smith gone and Anna Woolhouse gone, Johnny Nelson gone. Why has he said that?
So have you heard the Hearn interview with Coogan yet?
I've just watched it just now, but I've been watching them all day, getting ready for you, kid.
Fucking hell, man. You can get outside and enjoy the sunshine. Bloody hell. Yeah. Now, look, in that interview, about 9.5 minutes in, Hearn says something interesting. It's probably about 10.5, sorry. And he says, you know, people sit there and they don't like the commentary. They don't like this. They don't like that. And he said, this is what he said. I want to do shows where I pick the commentary. I pick the studio. I pick everything. And I was like, oh, so he doesn't like Backlund either. You know, when you start to look and you go, who was really calling the shots there? And you and I talked about this many times, Russ, where we said Hearn was a promoter for Sky, right? That means Sky gave him people like Joshua who they were invested in, and he promoted them. That's why Joshua hasn't gone over to the zone immediately.
Yeah.
So clearly Hearn wasn't happy with the product. And, you know, I did like the fact that he acknowledged that he listened to my episode last night, because no one else had put anything out on it last night, apart from probably me and Coppinger, right?
Yeah.
And that was the first time I thought, okay, this is Eddie Hearn, the fan talking. This is Hearn going, I'm tired of getting slaughtered on social media. Let me do this. I'm tired of taking the blame for other people's decisions. So I was like, okay. And so you start to look at Sky and you go, okay, are Sky just old now? Because when they started off, they were innovative, they were young, they were energetic. And now it just feels old when you start to look at all the other broadcast players and how they're doing things differently.
Yeah, I think that, but the point I want to make is Hatman has been hanging out at back of Sky for 10 years. As soon as Eddie Hearn jumped ship, and don't forget, go back 18 months, you'll see me say everybody were going to jump ship. Do you remember my video? Now, Hatman, why ain't he been saying this like we've been saying it for the last few years? Why all of a sudden come out now and say it?
So, Russ, listen, there's nothing personal against the guy. I don't really know who Hatman is.
I don't. So, he likes behind the camera, doesn't he?
I don't, apart from you, I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos. You and young Harley Marshall, shouts out to Harley Marshall. I don't watch anything else outside of that. Like I was saying to someone, I wish Ultratech did audio. If he did like a podcast, I'd listen to that. I just don't have time. So if Hatman's not happy...
We've been doing them all week.
I don't know, man. Like,
you're free in a week.
Listen, bottom line is, everyone's going to jump on the wave, but we were there early, Russ. Then people people really know.
We were them men.
Yeah, people laughed at us when we said, I think Sky are going in a different direction.
Well, I'm not impressed with that, man. He's had years to say that, and for him just to come out and do that now, it just proves he's a Hearn company man. Speaking of company men, Sporting Icons are supposed to be doing videos from next Monday from behind his camera. This is what the word on the grapevine, mate. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he looks like.
Hey, listen, good luck to him. I hope he makes his money and whatnot. You know, I don't beef with anyone anymore. Yeah, so I just wish all these guys the best.
I do, but I want to see his face. That's all. I just want to see if he's ugly like me. Eddie Hearn's looks like he's gone, doesn't he? Spencer Fearon, I think he was the one that broke it, but we've all been knowing this is going for ages, haven't we? Eddie Hearn's gone now. He's played it down in interview because they've still got to hang in there for next few months. But do you remember me coming out in January saying that Eddie Hearn's going to do 6 pay-per-views in as many months leading up to his leave? And everybody said, "Barky, you're a hater." Well, he's rinsing it to death in these last few months. Do you know what I mean? Do you feel that, eh? What, pardon?
White Povetkin,
Chisora, Parker, and there's a few others lined up in there as well.
they can't, what, before the end of June?
No, before July, isn't there? There's supposed to be 6 on trot, weren't there? So from in the 6 this year, we're doing 6 before he goes. So,
well, no, he's gone in June. So there isn't time to do 6 pay-per-views.
Yeah. Well, I'm only going on what I was told, Terry.
Who told you, Russ?
I'm not telling you, lad. I'm not telling you.
Can't son. Oh, hey, Russ, you got to tell me who told
you. Well, Joshua won in January was supposed to be in it, but that were free, and there's a couple of other ones as well, but I don't have that information.
What you on about, son? You ain't know about nothing. Up north, you ain't know about nothing, son.
Point I want to make is, do you feel that...
Buy scraps, son.
Are you fucking about here, Terry, or are we fucking talking boxing? Right, point I want to make is, right, is he playing company man, right, just to get it over the line and get out of Dodge? Or why didn't he just come out and say, look, I'm fucking sick of Sky Sports with fucking Bean and the same old script and same old people hanging out my hula hoop? Why didn't he just come out and say that instead of saying, no, there's nothing announced and playing it down and all that? Is there something missing? Is there something he's not telling us?
No, it makes perfect sense, Russ. So you don't know when you're going to have to deal with Sky again, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you're going to have to be nice to Sky to get Joshua released. You don't know.
Yeah.
So if I'm Hearn, I'm not doing a Porky Russ and just throwing my toys out the pram, because if DAZN goes tits up and Sky end up buying DAZN, which isn't impossible, you might have to deal with these same people again. Because remember, Russ, it's not Barney Francis where, you know, family friend and all that. It's the new breed who are in there now, and they don't know Eddie Hearn like that. So he has to play nicely, because be kind to people on your way up, because you might have to meet them on your way down.
Yeah, he's just playing the game, isn't he, I suppose. He's not like me that just fucking flips his lid.
Yeah, you know, because once the zone gets to a certain point and he knows it's stable and it's mature, he'll stick it to Sky at some point. Yeah, of course he will.
Do you feel there'll be a role at DAZN?
What, for you? For who?
Not for me or you. I mean for Bean.
Mate, I've got a role at DAZN. Don't worry about that. Like, you know,
come on, Terry.
No. That's why I was early with this, because the DAZN offices aren't that far from where I live. So you see these guys out and about. Like, they don't. Number one, they don't know anything about boxing, but they do now because they've been burnt, you know, to the tune of a few $100 million.
Yeah.
So now they know, and they've realized, right, we need to double down with Hearn, you know, but we need to kind of agree on how we do this. And so I think they've given Hearn not free reign, but they've given Hearn license, because they've said, we don't want to carry the cost of your production. And so he's like, cool, you pay me per show. And so that's the deal. And so Hearn's gone to Sky and said, will you do the same as Sky? Like, no chance in hell.
Yeah. And
so that's why it's got frosty. If Sky had offered the same thing DAZN were offering, I think Hearn would have stayed with them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, isn't it?
Exciting times ahead.
Obviously, reverse 12 year Adam Smith at Sky, very unhappy with how Chris Brown was speaking to him, and, you know, blah de blah and that, and he went running to Dennis at Setanta wanting a role there. Do you feel that Bean's going to do the same thing with DAZN, or do you think that Bean saw this coming earlier and jumped over to darts to look after himself, to I'm all right Jack kind of thing? What do you think to that?
If you're Adam Smith, would you want to go to DAZN? He's not going to get the same role at DAZN as he's had at Sky. So would he just go there as an on-air personality? I don't know. You definitely don't need him in the back office there, because they've kind of recruited And I think Hearn will want his own people there.
Young people.
Like Adam Smith's a bit of a legacy. So it's a chance for Hearn to actually make that separation from the Barry Hearn era into the Eddie Hearn era. So I think there'll be a few people that don't come on this journey with him.
Yeah, do you feel that Bellew will be involved at the Zone?
Yeah, that he's one of Hearn's people. Like, remember, Hearn's loyal to people who are loyal to him.
Yeah.
So I think there are roles there if they want them for guys like Froch and Darren Barker and Bellew.
Froch will be going to the Zone. Barker, yeah, he's married into Matchroom, and Froch will be going. He helped build Matchroom, didn't he, basically, with Hearn?
Yeah.
Well, Eddie's era. I don't know about the rest of them. Juggies, Oliver, and all them boys. I don't know. I think they'll be surplus to requirements. But like I said, I heard that man's podcast tonight, and 10 minutes, wherever it were, and he set about all of them at Sky. All of them, but he's never said anything like that before. So why come out now and say it? Because Hatman's a Hearn man, isn't he? So it surprised me to hear him set about them all. Do you know, in Bellew and all, he went, well, he sort of like didn't, he wasn't big on Bellew, but the others he set about them, Bean, Nelson and Woolhouse, Jesus, set about her. So I don't know if I'm a Hatman fan now, but I don't know. But I think it's a bit late in the day for him to be going hardcore, considering he's had his tongue out in Eddie Hearn's hoop. God knows how long.
It's interesting, though, how I think we're going to find out a number of things very quickly. We're going to find out who's really signed to Matchroom and who was just working with Matchroom. So that's going to become clear pretty damn quick. We're also going to find out who the Sky people were in this relationship and who the Matchroom people were. Because we'll see who's left over when Hearn finally makes the separation from Sky. So we're going to find out a lot of stuff, I think. And I'm interested to see what Sky do afterwards.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from. It's going to be interesting moving forward because I think we're going to see a lot of people squirming and a lot of people discarded like rubbish. And like I said, Eddie's the most ruthless in the business for saying, these are my new best friends, and then just discarding them. I mean, did you see how cold he were about Kell Brook? Jesus, that was pretty cold, wasn't it, when he was asked about Kell Brook by Cougs?
Yeah, he's a businessman. I'll never knock him for being a businessman.
Yeah,
he gave Kel the opportunity to set his family up for life. Kel's managed to butcher that at every opportunity. He's given people a platform, and that's one thing I'm always going to respect about Hearn. He gave people a platform. If I was a boxer and I was on Matchroom, mate, I would have been selling CBD oil. I would have been selling socks. I would have been selling face masks. I would have been selling everything.
Matchroom aftershave.
Hey,
like
I'd have been selling Porky's Corner pork scratchings, mate.
Pork scratching. Yeah, so some spicy Porky's pork scratchings. He actually sent me a voice text saying they burnt his mouth. That was some years ago, that when I used to think he were all right.
When you were a company man.
When I were a Matchroom company man back in the days. Them spicy
but
pork scratchings. Go on, sorry.
Well, with extra spice.
The hottest ones are Ultra Def ones. There's some sauce you can get on Amazon called Mega Def and Ultra Def. It comes in like a cardboard coffin. I think I sent Eddie some pork scratchings off it.
Mate, I've got one like that. Mine's called Psycho Drops.
Psycho Drops? I've had that one, Terry. You only have to put a dropping pan and your ass is on fire, innit?
You don't want to go crazy with the Psycho Drops.
My mate put some on his dinner like it with HP sauce, and he was in a bit of a mess. And I gave Lee Froch a bottle. And I gave Carl Froch a bottle, and he put it in a little pot of mayonnaise, mixed it up, and Lee Froch came in and made a pig of his son with mayonnaise at this barbecue or whatever they had. And he were in a right pickle, mate. It's some lethal stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, mate, it messes you up. I was going to say, one thing we haven't touched on is, what does Joshua do?
Yeah,
in all of this?
Coming to that now, Terry. And Dillian White, why do they keep putting Dillian White in mix with Joshua they've not signed, and it's without Dillian White and Joshua? Dillian White's not fought for an EBU. I like to get that in, don't I? All right, evening, Dylan.
Yeah. Nah, but it's more about what does Joshua do? Because remember that here's the risk, right? Joshua might just say, I want my stable on Sky because it's better for them commercially, for them to be on Sky. You're going to be seen by more people. It gives you more opportunities outside the ring. So that then means Ramla, Ali, Campbell, Hatton, Okoli, Boatsi, and anyone else who he decides to sign are suddenly separate from the zone. So that would be really, really interesting because we know Freddie Cunningham and Eddie Hearn don't get along.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that this move suddenly opens up, and I'm not saying that they'll all go one way or the other. Excuse me. I don't think they'll go one way or the other. I just want to see how they play out.
Yeah. What do you think happened to Dylan then?
He could do his own. This is what I mean. He might do his own thing and go, all right, let me sign up these guys. I've got Pesta. I've got Chris Congo. I've got my own operation now. So when I do shows, all my guys fight on my shows. Joshua might say, on my shows, all my guys fight on my shows.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. It's just about who's well advised and who's not.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I think that Dylan White could be put on a show in America and be told out there as a bit of a big star with Eddie behind him, really, even though he hasn't really won much. Do you know what I mean?
Who's he going to fight in America?
Well, I'd like to see him in with somebody like Bryant Jennings or Brazil or Ortiz, somebody like that, me.
Nah, I think he's kind of past that level considering where he's placed himself.
Well, after beating Povetkin, 42-year-old. Come on, Terry.
No, but then you say fight Ortiz. He's 40-something-year-old as well.
Ortiz is a different. Well, why don't you call him out? He's a different proposition.
Well, no. He's not going to call him out for the same reason you didn't want to see him fight Povetkin. You can't have it both ways. He either fights old men and we complain, or we say, okay, he can fight anyone he wants. I want to see him in a meaningful fight, and there's only really two that we want to see him in against.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see him in with Fury or Joshua, Dylan White. Would you?
Do you know what? Here's a curveball. I'd like to
Louise.
Maybe Takam.
That's an interesting one. Here, Terry, that's the source I were on about.
Ooh. It's death.
that comes in a and listen, let me tell you a little story, right? Let me tell you a little story. There's this guy, right, who come, well, he's in jail now. He used to come in my local pub and he's got these big bare paws. You know, like I told you about when you're at school, when you're 12-year-old, there's always somebody who's like the shower monster, who gets in the showers with everybody, some farmer's son, hairy back, you know, one of them strong as though, no muscles on his body, but he could just block two people in rugby scrum. Well, there's one of them that comes in my local, or used to, doing a 7-stretch a month, strangling somebody. But he just come up to you and just crush everybody's hand. So they call him Crusher. I thought, Crusher will be in later with it. So this stuff here is lethal. So I put it on my hands when he come in. I went up, shook hands with him, let him crush my hand. He like, you know what I mean? Went and washed my hands and he proceeded to sit drinking loads of drink. And as the evening's going on, he's going like this. Anyway, he ended up in a right bit of a state, mate. But that's like, and anybody who thinks I'm not being serious, well, look at that. Look at the chilies in that. Look what happens when you go like that and then turn it up like that and look at the top. It's still clinging to the bottle, in it? It's because it's about up to there, but look, and it clings to the glass. That is very, very serious. It's the highest one. It's stronger than that one you've got, Terry. I've had to top you. But it's called Ultra Death. But they do another one called Mega Death. And if you don't believe me, ask Carl Froch what that is capable of. He's still got the same bottle from when he fought Butte. That is the sauce to end all sauces. And when you're making a curry at home or a chili, you only need as big as your thumbnail in a pan for 6 people. and you're like, wow, that's got some right kick in it. So can you imagine putting a little bit more than that on somebody's dinner, or even getting
game over?
Oh, it's a hospital job, mate. It's that serious. It's been known to kill people. But getting back to Dylan White, he needs to get a move on. He's 33 now, isn't he? So, time's knocking on for him, innit? He's only got a vacant British to his name. But he's looking for his 7th pay-per-view, Terry. This is what I can't get out of my head. I can't get it out of my head.
Name me a pay-per-view Dylan's been in that hasn't been entertaining.
Oh, well, that's because they're putting him in 50-50s, aren't they?
But that's what you want, Russ.
Yeah, that's what I want, but...
That's what you'd pay for, right?
No, I won't pay them lot for it. No, I hate them too much. I don't all these people saying, I don't hate anybody. No, I hate them.
Okay. But here's the point.
When that fight, Joshua fight ran at Wembley with Klitschko, and did they have roof shut? Well, I said, if it rains and they have to shut roof, I hope it collapses on everybody. Is that bad to feel like that?
You know what? They needed you in that Dave Chappelle skit, the player hating ball. You'd have been brilliant in that.
But no, where's Dylan White's career going though? And I'm not just saying that because he's got rid of Martyrs. Where is he heading? He's with his 7th pay-per-view and still not won a world title. That's the answer, isn't it?
That might be his model. He might just say, do you know what? I'm going to keep racking up these pay-per-views until someone's got the balls to fight me. And I can't say he's doing it wrong. I think that's the right thing to do.
Okay. Well, I'm going to throw a curveball at you now, or a boomerang. Box Nation, everybody hammered it, didn't they? Because Eddie Earn went on his platform and got all these little gimps from Beam Masons on all these YouTubers. They all hammered Frank with Box Nation. But I think we have to give Frank one a little bit of respect here because he did it with his own money. Now, if you look at DAZN, Eddie's doing the same thing now, but it's OPM, innit? Other people's money. They're not putting their own money in, are they? Do you know what I mean?
Hey, that might be the grift of the year, man. If Eddie's got that 450, 500 mil budget for 5 years, if he's got that, like, kid in a sweet shop, right? Do whatever the hell you want.
What, pay people to terrorize me all day on social media?
You're not even on social media.
Well, I'm on YouTube. That's social media, isn't it? YouTube.
Raz.
YouTube social media now.
It kind of is, but it's still that real time.
It's my last throw at dice, isn't it?
This is your last channel.
It's my last chance of saloon, and I've caused that much bollocks. But all right then. Sky never came out and did an interview regarding Dave Allen, did they? Going to Dennis and never gave him. They've not even given him airtime. Eddie's just been asked about it tonight, and for about 35 seconds, he just said Dave were giving off all signs that he didn't want to fight, and that's so they walked away and that. But that ain't what I've heard. I've heard that he was secretly raging about pulling out of that fight. When they got the substitute in for Lovejoy, he got two opportunities, didn't he? And he walked, and Jamie Moore had driven all the way down there, only 6 hours, and he didn't even stop night. Jamie drove straight back, didn't he? I've heard he were like not very happy. Like, do you feel that that what last throw at dice for Eddie, for then Dave to come back 12 weeks later, saying, "Oh, I'll come back now." Do you think he were like, no, you're not after all that? And because obviously they gave Dave a big send off on Sky Soccer AM, and then they had him down the following week for summer. Do you feel that it was Eddie that pulled plug, or do you think it was Sky?
So Hearn's probably known he's going to go to DAZN for a while, right? So he was like, realistically, I can't pull the plug on Dave Allen. I just won't work with him. I think the negativity will come from Sky. And you and I have spoken about this on camera and off camera. The Dave Allen thing is just it's not a car crash because Dave's a nice guy, but Dave's not well advised. Do you see what I mean? All that I'm retiring talk and stuff, like that's why people will generally say, look, I'm not going to make a decision on the night. I want to take some time away to see how I feel. Because the Lovejoy fight was winnable. It was an easy fight for Dave to win. So why wouldn't you do that? And then if you get a substitute, why wouldn't you just jump in? You're Dave Allen, for God's sake. That's what people expect you to do. Yeah. So it kind of harms his brand.
When you've been in with Ortez and Yoker and Dylan White and who was the other guy, big David Price, when you've been in with them guys, and then Eddie said, well, we've got you a knockover in here, and he rumming and ahhing and that. I don't know. I didn't get that, me. Did you?
You know what it's like, Russ. Look. Now that Brexit's happened, if someone says, Russell, mate, I'm bringing some fags in over, you know what I mean? Do you want to get in the boat? You can't be umming and ahhing. You're either on it or you're not, right? Yeah, but the minute you start stammering and stuttering and people know you're not hungry. They're like, no, you're not serious about this, and they just move on. And I think that's what's going to happen with Dave. You know what I mean? He'll have a few 4-rounders. I'm sure they'll put him in with Nathan Gorman because it'll be a mildly entertaining fight. And then Dave will just go, mate, I'm area level at best. And then he'll retire again and come back again. Well,
first of all, let me just correct what you said. It's not, we don't call it fags in the industry, the ex-industry I used to be involved with. We used to call it the salmon because salmon swims upstream, doesn't it? And fags come from the south, don't they? You know, the Mediterranean. They come up towards the north end of Europe. So we call it the salmon terrace. They don't call it fags in here because you have customs coming to my fucking house. You twat. So, anyway, moving on from the salmon.
that was all for promotional use only. None of it's based on true events.
No. Totally innocent. Totally innocent. I don't mind you mentioning cocaine or heroin and all like that, but don't mention fucking VAT and stuff like that, mate. You'll get me fucking throat key away. It's a bit like getting done for a speeding ticket in this country. Gee, they hunt you down, don't they?
They come looking for you.
You can go around doing arson and nicking cars and that, but you start messing about with VAT and that and your TV license, they're coming through front door, aren't they? Ask Alex Belfield.
That's why I don't have a TV.
Yeah, that's why you don't have a TV, mate. Okay, what's Eddie Hearn built from scratch that weren't in the GB team? Who was he built? What stable has he built?
So I think let's look at it from a different angle, Russ. Under Hearn's watch, we got Foch Groves 2, we got Joshua Klitschko, and we got numerous rocking nights at the O2. So Hearn's built boxing in this country, and he's taken it to a place it needed to go, but people were afraid to take it, and he had the balls to take it there.
Yeah, he did, and I give him massive credit for that. And I also give Eddie Hearn credit. I give Eddie Hearn a lot of stick, but he is an hard worker. But to me, that's not work, what he's doing. It's not, to me, he's an hard worker. There's people like my dad who used to go down and cut into coal and stuff like that underground and do double shifts to put food on the table in the 60s and 70s. That's an hard worker. Or builders on a building site. Not Eddie Hearn strutting about saying, easy cougs, apples and pears, it is what it is, and plot up, all that cheeky Nando's crap. That to me isn't work, swanning about, just travelling about. That ain't work, mate, to me.
Why?
Because I don't think that's proper work. What I do now ain't proper work, even though when I come home I'm tired.
Wait. But then that is proper work, right? Yeah. Okay, it hasn't got the danger that mining has, but there's not many jobs around that have the same danger that mining has. Do you see what I mean? Unless you're fishing for actual salmon in the North Sea.
Listen, my dad was telling me a story a couple of weeks ago. He was down pit in the 60s and that, and he couldn't see 8 inch in front of him because of dust. I was like, well, Jesus, because my dad ended up leaving in 78. He went to British Telecom, we called post office then, wasn't it, or GPO, but he said he couldn't see in front of him for 8 inch, because it was that bad conditions and that. So God knows what it was like in 30s and 40s and 50s. But when I hear Eddie Hearn going on about he's a grafter and he's worked his nuts off and that, what? Walking about with people kissing your ass all day? That's not that, mate.
So here's why I've got sympathy, because obviously we all get an insight into how he lives. And I just say, look, he has to sacrifice watching his kids grow. He's on call literally 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do understand that.
You know, it's a job where it doesn't stop, Russ. And I think the thing is, we say it's an easy job because he seems to enjoy it. Now, I don't know if anyone else would want to step in his shoes and have to being 3 cities in 3 days. It would annoy me after a while. Imagine trying to make Fury Joshua. You're just there like, mate, either fight him or don't fight him. I haven't got time for this. I'd have hung up the phone 3 years ago.
Yeah. Don King had this nipped in bud by now, wouldn't he? Back in his heyday.
Yeah. He'd have sent some Italians over.
Well, Don King, yeah, you're probably right about that. Don King, when he made the George Foreman fight, he went to Foreman's team. 5 million to fight Ali. Yes or no? Yes, please sign that. Ali, do you want to fight Foreman? Yeah, 5 million. Sign that. He then had the contract. So then he said, right, now I need 10 million. And then he went about getting the money. So Don King, in my opinion, was an innovator. Back in the day, he made it pretty simple. Whereas, and all the promoters did in them days, didn't they? They just got down to business. Whereas now, everybody's got that many advisors and there's that many people putting spoke in and this and that and people trying to protect their O's. And I mean, if you go through Ali's record and go through these now, it's like night and day, isn't it? The record.
No. Oh, no. Jesus, no.
Why ain't it?
Look how much dross Ali fought. Ali fought a lot of dross.
No, Terry, listen to me. Ali beat 16 world champions. 16. Tyson beat 3. Joshua.
No. You're not getting away with.
What about the in-between fights like the Brian London fight and Henry Cooper
with Chuck Wepner?
Yeah, they're the tick-over fights, aren't they?
Well, no. What I'm saying is, when you look at Ali's record,
kept him active, didn't they? Ali, didn't they? Kept him active to feed the people around him, didn't they? But
no. But I'm just saying Ali fought what 70 times? I'm guessing it's supposed to be about 70 times. Most people.
Ali fought. How many times had he fought? Right up to draft. How many times had he fought up to age of 20, whatever, 29?
20. What was he? 27 or something?
27 when he went to draft. How many times had he fought up to 27? And when he came back and he fought, who is it? You need to look at how many times he'd fought and compare them to what Fury's done and things like that. Is it similar? I don't know, but Ali seemed to be more active. Well, Fury's just had gift fights, hasn't it, last few years?
Well, no, what I'm saying is most boxing careers, it's like I said to Ali, take the 60-odd, 70-odd fights Ali's had. Right? Yeah. Boxing fans, how many of these fights do you remember? And people talk about the 3 fights with Frazier, the fight with Foreman, the 3 fights with Norton. You might put guys like Jerry Quarry in there, Sonny Liston twice. You might say Cleveland Williams just for the performance.
Jerry Quarry be a world champion now. Cleveland Williams, I think, were a world champion, wasn't he?
But he was But he was like Luis Ortiz or maybe Povetkin. He was old and past it by the time Ali fought him.
Oh, Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he was a world champion though, wasn't he? He had been a world champion.
Had he? I'd have to check that, but he that wasn't a prime.
Would be one now, wouldn't he? Cleveland Williams would be one now, wouldn't he? A world champion.
Nah, I don't think so.
You would. Williams would run over Dylan White now.
Nah. I think we overstate that. Like I told you, there's a lot of dross in the 60s that gets dressed up because none of us were there. Right? There's a lot of dross that was around in the 60s. Yeah. Liston, Patterson, Ali can have those. He fought Patterson twice, didn't he? Yeah, like one of them when he was well over the hill. Then you got 3 fights with Frazier. You got 3 fights with Norton.
Carl Mildenberger.
There. You who else you got? The Quarry one, Oscar Bonavera. Would he have been a world champion now? God no. There's a lot of guys in Ali's record. Ali could never have had that record in the social media age, Russ. He'd have been slaughtered.
Yeah, I know, but point I want to make is, Terry, he's still got 16 wins over world champions, and there were no belts then, days, were there?
But were they world champions when Ali fought them?
He bought Liam Spinks, beat him, didn't he, at rematch? He was a world champion then, undisputed.
And what did Spinks do after that?
Ali ruined him.
Oh, when old bastard Ali ruined him.
Finished off by Trevor Berbick, who lost the WBC to Mike Tyson. So he finished off.
Come on, man. Like Ali was even.
Are you disrespecting Muhammad Ali? Come on.
No. I'm saying this. Even the greats have really weak records. Because I had this discussion when I was trying to explain why I think Floyd's one of the greatest of all time.
Foreman, Fraser, and Norton. There's 5 wins over world champions there alone. That's how many Joshua's got now.
Okay, out of how many fights, Russ?
Foreman once, Fraser three.
No. Out of how many fights in his whole career?
Did Ali have 61 fights altogether? Were it something like that?
Oh, it must be more than that.
I thought he was 56 and 5, or is that Mike Tyson, something like that? I forget now.
Nah. He's somewhere between 60 and 70.
Is he?
All right. And I genuinely think 1 in 6 of his fights were against duds.
Do you? You don't reckon Ali's all that much?
No, 5 out of every 6 Ali fights, 5 were against guys where you're like, I wouldn't want to watch that. You watched it for Ali. Because I had the same discussion when I was talking about Floyd. And I said, if you look at Floyd's record is pretty dense when you compare it to someone like Ali. Mayweather, do you know what I mean? He passes all those tests.
God, there's that much stuff about Ali. I'm going to be an hour here just scrolling through it to get to box rec, but Geezer's a legend. And Terry's here.
Beyond question.
Go on then, what?
No, it's beyond question that Ali's a legend. I'm just saying that even the legends don't have stellar CVs in terms of just fought hard fights their whole career.
Well, yeah, I know. Unless the Liam Cameron.
Killer Cam, Hall of Famer. Probably second ballot Hall of Famer.
Remember that Killer Cam video?
Yeah.
Good that, wasn't it?
What a legend.
Here we are.
Free Liam Cameron.
61 fights, 56 and 5. There you go.
Yeah.
37 by KO by way of, like Eddie Earn, 3 by way of. So
there's a lot of dross in that record.
16 wins over world champions. Vladimir Klitschko, he had 69 fights. Floyd Mayweather beat 20 world champions. What a CV he's got, Floyd Mayweather, hasn't he?
But you see that thing of what world champions you've beaten, like it's not a good way to assess it because they don't got.
Let's just beat area champions, Terry, eh?
No, Russ, but it's like, how did you become world champion? So you look at Joseph Parker, right? In terms of CVs, who do I respect more, Joseph Parker or Derek Chisora? I respect Chisora more. But Parker's a world champion.
Right time, he got good people behind the scenes pulling strings for him, didn't he?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, so you could say, yeah, so-and-so won because he's beaten a world champion in Joseph Parker. But I'm like, Chisora's a bigger test for anyone, even now.
Won't it? Derek will run straight over him, won't he?
Yeah, so that's my point. Like, the world champion test doesn't necessarily reveal who's had the better career.
No, it doesn't, but it gives you a guide to say, well, look, they've mixed in good company, even though that person might not have mixed in as good. It gives us a guide, but boxing is subjective, isn't it? And that's why we
because look at Mike Tyson, right? They say, right, Tyson beat
9 world champions.
And one of them's Larry Holmes, for God's sake. And how old was he?
Yeah, and they dug him up. Well, Mike Tyson's CV is one of the weakest of all the so-called top 20 greats. Is one of the weakest out of all of them. Do you know that? Can you tell me Mike Tyson?
He is the weakest.
Tell me his best 3 wins.
Robin Givens.
What, when he pounced it off all 4 walls?
Desiree Washington.
Oh, that's a bit below the belt, Terry, isn't it?
But that's my point. The guy, how they were able to manufacture like the image he has is beyond me, because he sits on his own podcast and admits he was never a tough guy.
He admits taking steroids as well, doesn't he, in his book?
That doesn't surprise me.
He admits taking steroids in his book. I nearly collapsed when I got to that in his book. And then admits having to cheat on piss tests. You know, using that thing that he had on NDT Willie in front of
Oh, the fake penis.
The fake penis thing. It already had the clean wee in it. One of his mates, the crocodile guy, were carrying that around for him. That was his sole job. He all kept going like that. You remember him?
Yeah.
What's your job? I'm just Mike's man. I'm Mike's guy. It's a family affair. They were all walking around and it's a family affair leather jackets. Do you remember?
Nice. It is a family affair. Team Tyson all day.
Tyson, but he's got 9 wins over world champions. And to say that people big him up. I mean, I go to somebody's house now and you walk in, it's like a shrine to Mike Tyson. And every time I go down there, they're in bits because they know I'm going to set about it. I said, what you got this all over here for? Get a grip of yourself. He's not beat as many world champions as Carl Froch.
You know, my only test is this, Russ.
Go on, yeah.
What did you do against your peers? What did you do against the people who are roughly your age and your stage in their careers, right? Because all you can do is beat the best around you.
Holyfield and Lennox Lewis, they bashed him up, didn't they?
Yeah.
Bashed him up.
So Mike's not even the best of his era, never mind an all-time great.
Hang on a minute. Chris, I'm just live with your friend. Do you want to say hello?
I do, mate, yeah.
Go on, it's Terry. Go on, Chris. Speak.
How you doing, mate? It's good to speak to the king, man, the best trainer of all time.
Cheers, pal. It's good to speak to the best podcast on the YouTube. How you going, mate?
Yeah, don't mention out about the kid who's trained tonight because we don't want anybody to know just yet. Terry knows, but don't say out, yeah? Did he train, though, yeah?
Sport brilliant, and he needs a ball protector and an head guard, mate.
Yeah, we'll sort that. We'll sort that, yeah. Right.
He needs a proper head guard. Get him the Reyes head guard, Porky. Get it in yellow leather as well.
Price him up, Chris, yeah? Price him up and just get back to me, yeah?
I'm looking forward to hearing your podcast, Porky, anyway.
Yeah, I'll put it out tonight, then with no intro on that, just for you, Chris. How's about that?
Top man.
All right, speak to you in a bit. Cheers. All right, bye.
See you, Terry.
See you later, mate.
Right. What will that cost, Terry?
Oh, man, I would have paid anything. Like, what an absolute hero. Nah, but the Reyes head guard, I don't know, a couple £100. Worth it, though. Last the kid for life.
I'll be popular tomorrow at work, won't I?
Nah, but the thing is, it's good. So the Reyes head guard's really good for visibility. So what happens is a lot of lads spar, and some of these head guards restrict the vision. So they end up just taking them off, and then you increase the risk of cuts. But the Reyes one got a really good nose bar as well, but you can see everything. You can see the uppercuts coming. You can see the hooks coming. They're really, really good.
What other thing he asked for?
I didn't hear.
I'll
might have asked for a groin guard.
Groin guard.
It might have been. Just double check.
I'm going to... hang on a minute. Head guard. Groin guard. Groin guard. He didn't say gum shield, did he? No, they're not dear, are they, then?
No, they're not, man. They're all good. But you don't want to get that. But he needs to go to his dentist and get one fitted. Just put the money down for that.
Yeah, that Liam King's dad does them, doesn't he? Where they're moulded to your mouth. He did Frotchers, didn't he?
Yeah.
They're about $1,000 though, them, aren't they?
No, it's not that much.
I'm sure Carl told me it is with $1,000. I'm not sure.
Well, it didn't help him when George put one on him, though, did it?
Oh, very funny. He got up and knocked him out in 9th round, you fucking mad man.
Yeah, he did. He didn't even knock him out, man. Foster had to just give him that chokehold, man. He was like Jake the Snake in there, wasn't he? Just about to give him the DDT.
If I'd have been with Dennis, I'd have got them for now. But I'm gonna ring Clinton or Frotch and try and beg one.
Well, get him to sign it first.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Clinton will have one of them knocking about in gym. No, you don't use well. Clinton, if you're watching, get in touch with me. If not, I'll be on to you tomorrow.
Carl's watching. I just seen that. Carl's definitely watching this one.
He will be watching this one. They all watch me. I'm the man on at the moment. Let's move on back to this then. Let's have a look. So Eddie Hearn basically you heard what he said there. They're going to do Matchroom, their own production, Matchroom Media and all that. Is that so they can control the narrative? Because they didn't.
That's what he said.
Yeah, the point you were making, the Matchroom narrative. Sorry, the Sky narrative. Do you think Matchroom just didn't like how Bean were going off on one? For example, 2 weeks ago, Bean were going on about, and he's such a great guy, and they went camping in the Lake District, and his opponent, he's got a design for a spider's web on his elbow. And Josh Warrington, he's got a stamp book and all this. And do you think that Eddie don't like that kind of being carried on, where he gets carried away with his son?
I think Hearn will probably go for a commentary model, which is like wrestling. So he'll have a play-by-play guy, like an Andy Clark, and then he'll have a color commentator who's just there to sell the fight, sell the stories. Remember how Jesse the Body Ventura used to do it?
Yeah.
That's what you will end up getting. Hearn will be looking for guys like that, characters like that. You know, the characters that the fans can get behind.
Yeah.
That's where I see it going, mate.
Okay then. Do you think they'll control it with bot accounts and carry on with that? Because we know they've been doing that, haven't they, for the last 7 years? You think they'll?
Mate, they've put the money in for that, so they need to get their return on investment.
Didn't it? Because everybody were laughing at them when they did that, but they controlled the fake news, haven't they, for the last 7 years very well since Froch Groves rematch, haven't they?
Mate, you can't drown them out anymore.
Do you remember when that rematch started and all of a sudden that everybody started noticing them fake bot accounts on Twitter? And like I said, Eddie, Carl Froch should have Eddie to thank for a lot of things, shouldn't he? And George, because George sold the rematch as well, didn't he?
Yeah, Carl did nothing for the rematch. He just showed up.
He just showed up and iced Groves, didn't he, in 8th?
Didn't even ice him, man. There was ice on the fucking ring canvas.
Is that why Groves slipped?
Exactly. Slipped. He just slipped, man. He got really bad whiplash. I heard they gave him 50 grand in compensation for that.
Yeah. Well, the way Eddie's going on about it now with this Matchroom media, I think he's going to make what Sky have just been done for the last 10 years look a bit tame in it. Can you imagine Eddie Hearn controlling the narrative? It'll be like weekend, won't it? You remember that?
But Russ, remember what happened to Matchroom during the lockdown?
Yeah.
It just went dark, and Eddie Hearn had to do these Zoom interviews day in, day out because they had no content that they could just wheel out immediately. So Hearn's not stupid. He learned from that, and he realized that you lose a lot of fans when you don't deliver in times of crisis. That's why he had to do the fight camp out of his back garden, because he had to give the fans something.
Yeah, he had to just put some shows on and think on his feet, didn't he?
Yeah, and credit to him for doing that.
Yeah, do you know what? I thought it were... Look, at the end of the day, it was a bit innovative in somebody's back garden, but... And I have dug it out on that. But looking back on that, he had to think on his feet, didn't he? Because he couldn't get a venue.
Yeah. And didn't he say he lost £1 million doing that?
I don't believe that they lost anything. His dad at the time in the early 70s was the youngest chartered accountant, and chartered accountants are very, very shrewd people, mate. They'd have just set that off against the tax, just like other people I know who are promoters. So promoters in boxing who have other businesses do not lose money on shows. They just don't make money. They offset it. So, right.
Poor kid.
We just tell you that little one. So all them people that say, "Oh, I'm putting my hand in my pocket," no, they're not. They're just paying the tax. That's all. So don't believe them. A lot of lies in boxing. Right.
Believe the hype.
Yeah. IFL and Bean has basically dropped them because Coogan seemed to. He sounded a bit desperate in that interview. He was like, "Well, what's going to happen with IFL?" He were unsure of his role. Did you suss that out?
I don't think Hearn needs Coogan anymore.
Yeah, that's what I think now, because he's got Chris Lloyd and Darren Barker running around with a camera, hasn't he?
And he's got, look, everyone wants to hear from him. But more importantly, Russ, once he's on DAZN, he can just do these interviews on DAZN.
Yeah.
Yeah. If 200,000 people really watch Eddie on Coogan's show, go and do it on DAZN. People will come for that. It'll be an added benefit.
Yeah. Okay. Fury AJ. Announcements about announcements.
That's, mate. When I see those two in the ring,
days now, isn't it, since they signed it?
When I see those two in the ring, I'll care.
Yeah.
That's it, mate. There's nothing else we can even say on it, really, is there?
Become boring, hasn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Conor Benn and Khan, you heard him talking about that. I mean, putting Conor Benn into equation with Amir Khan, what do you think to that?
Nah, disrespectful. It's disrespectful.
Yeah, but what about the way Eddie's looking at it? Conor Benn's on his way up, Amir's on his way down, and have they met in middle, or is it still a bit like that?
Nah, it's disrespectful. If Khan's going to go out, he needs to go out against Pacquiao.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. But Conor Benn's exerted himself, and they play PR game, aren't they? They're good at that, aren't they? The Matchroom fledglings. Campbell Hatton. What'll happen to him and Ben? Will they cross over to DAZN with Eddie? Yeah, I think they will.
We'll see, because they were talking about Conor being a pay-per-view star. And if DAZN don't have a pay-per-view platform, how are you going to do that?
He'll just get paid good money on the zone, won't he?
Well, no one's going to see him, right? But if you look at it, Russ, look at the reason why kids don't play sport anymore.
Oh, tell me about it. I've got 2 downstairs here, like slugs on them iPads. I can't get them off them iPads.
It's not so because stuff's not on terrestrial TV anymore. Russ, I remember when I first came to England, and you could get league football on ITV. So I remember watching guys like Ricky Otto, Louis Donowa, Stevie Claridge, Steve Bull, Craig Short at Derby, Paul Simpson at Derby.
Who played with Andy Much up front for Wolves?
Yeah.
What a partnership they were, Much and Bull.
Yeah. Andy Booth. Remember Andy Booth at Huddersfield?
Yeah.
I mean, all of those guys I remember back in the day, man. Dean Windass and all those sorts of guys.
Dean Windass played for Hull, didn't he?
Barnsley,
did he?
And Hull, I think.
Yeah, Dean Windass is an Hull kid. Yeah, he's from Hull. Yeah, he knows my mate Shane from Hull.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is, I still remember those guys because I was able to just watch sport on a Sunday or a Saturday uninterrupted. You know, didn't have to pay a penny for it. If it was on, I could watch it. And I was like, this is good. Now you can't watch sport as a kid. Now you're telling me that not only does the kid now struggle because everything's on Sky and BT, and most families struggle to afford that. Now you've got to pay extra to get this app called DAZN. I just don't see it happening. And I think that's going to hurt a lot of these guys from a boxing perspective because they're not going to get access to the public and they're not going to get that love that the public have for them.
Well, don't you remember when Eddie Hearn toyed with the idea of an app a couple of years ago, and he turned around and said, look, people want to sit down and watch boxing on a night with the family and the mates. They want to watch it on the screen that's on wall. So why are they messing with this DAZN app and stuff? Is that because if you're on a train or on a coach or on a plane or in a waiting area, is it for that kind of thing? Or
maybe, Russ, but I'm not. I mean, I need to see boxing in full 1080p or 4K now. I need to see it in detail.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. We spoke about Derek versus Parker. I've got Derek Chisora to run over Parker. Me, have you?
Yeah, I hope so. I just want to see Parker
I want to see Parker put to Kip and put on plane and sent back. Every fight he's in, he stinks arena. He's the original stinkinator.
Yeah, agreed.
We spoke about Ben Khan. Did we really touch on Kell Brook like we should? Do you feel that Kell Brook's now surplus to requirements and he's a gatekeeper?
Not relevant anymore. He's not even a gatekeeper. He's just not relevant. Like, he should retire. He could fight John Fuchs.
Yeah, John Fuchs is coming back.
Yeah, Fuka. You remember when Sheffield went mad, Porky? All you lot went mad when Fuki was training Kell. Like, this guy was some kind of magician.
I were a few. Yeah, I used to be running around like an headless chicken. Wait, what fireball gets sort of you is going to KO you. And then he 18 stone, and then Dennis slimmed him down to 11, and Dennis has dug him up.
Wow.
And he's used the same shovel to dig Dave Allen up.
Whew, that shovel, man. That's that golden shovel.
I know. Well, when Chris Smedley left, they couldn't dig any more up when he was Dennis's matchmaker from City Road Cemetery. So Dennis is having to do it himself now with Jason McCrory.
The head of boxing, the Porky the sequel. That's Jason.
Josh Wales' contract ran out today with Dennis.
You going to sign him?
I signed him 2 years ago today, kid.
Yeah, sign him again. Sign him up to Porky Boxing.
No, Terry, getting ahead of yourself there. Be patient. I think that Josh has gone on his own now, and he's got his managers, he's got his trainers, he's still got his fighting license. Well, I think he needs to renew it. He probably will do. He's been out at ring 14 months, and he's looking at promoting Josh Wales. So Josh is his own man now. He's got a foothold in Barnsley, so he's going places, and I wish him well. And he's not only one going places. So there's a new breed coming into boxing now, and people are going to have to up the games, aren't they? The Dennises and the people like that. And
nah, they don't. They control the access, mate.
Dennis controls access. The only thing Dennis controls is his intake of balsamic vinegar crisps on a Saturday night with his bottle of red.
That's a good combination.
Not bad when you laid on settee all day, innit?
Hey, that's how we all need to live, Porky.
Yeah, we all need to do something like that, don't we? Triller, what do you think to Triller's show? There was some serious
Triller
night. There was some serious chronic smoke that night, wasn't there, between Snoopy Doggy Dog and all the rest of them, wasn't there?
You know what I'll say? It's fun for me. I enjoy those things. They're just fun. Like, they're not serious boxing like we know it, but they're fun and I can watch them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And they're doing insane numbers. Like, they're making real money. So fair play to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, they're making money. Jake Paul, the guy he fought, basically was a stiff, wasn't he?
No, Ben Askren is an athlete. Ben Askren's a hell of a wrestler. He's just not a boxer.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Well, that's like putting a plasterer in. Oh, he's a hell of a plasterer, but can he box?
No, well, no. So I think from talking to my friends in the MMA world, they thought Askren would be tough enough to give him problems, like resilient. And just turns out, actually, there's a difference between people who train to box and people who kind of play at boxing. Askren, he was a good opponent for Jake Paul because it's a good name. But if they picked someone who could strike in MMA, I think he might have had a bit more trouble. But the power's real, Russell. That he can. Jake Paul can legit punch. It's just a question of whether he can take one or whether he can defend himself.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, he's having it off, isn't he, that Jake Paul? And I just feel every time I
Is he?
Oh, I think
no, but he's been training solidly for 3 years.
What? He's had 3 fights and he's getting 30 million a fight. What about
why not?
Getting $3,000 a fight who've had 3 fights? They're not having.
Well, then they need to up their game, Russ. You can't be mad at someone for making money.
No,
he's just being himself.
I feel so. Oh, well, yeah, maybe. Maybe Jake Paul's putting things in these young boxers' heads now that they feel like they have to be controversial and go to something freakishly daft to get themselves noticed. And maybe
that will be you're right.
If they start doing that, like Dave Allen acting daft all night and on Twitter till 5 a.m., then they don't want to get up at 6 o'clock to go to do the morning run, do they? Because they've not been in bed at 9 o'clock, have they? Do you see where I'm coming from? A boxer needs minimum of 9 hours, I was told, a day. 9 hours minimum, Kip, right?
No, I think that's all nonsense, mate. I think a lot of stuff that's said in boxing is said by people who don't know what they're talking about. Russ, I played rugby for 17 years, and after every training session, I had at least 2 beers. Never affected me.
Yeah.
Didn't affect me the day after. Doesn't. The body's pretty resilient.
Yeah.
You can, if you've got the discipline, you can live your life. There's enough hours in the day, especially if you're a pro, because you only need to be concentrated and focused for about 2.5 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Right? If I give you 10 hours to sleep, you've still got loads of time to do stuff.
Yeah.
So why aren't you out there? Why aren't you out there doing things and being interesting?
Yeah.
Russ, a lot of boxers are lazy. They think it's enough to just show up and fight. It hasn't been that way for a while.
Clinton said that somewhat similar to me. I think he said it on Boxing Asylum one. He said he's still plastered when I said, well, why do you do that when you're a professional? He said, well, look, what's 2 training sessions a day? What is it, 2 45-minute sessions? You still got rest at day, haven't you? And what am I going to do all day?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
These guys do nothing. They bum around. That's what they bum around all day.
Joshua done. He's ticking over in gym all day, or pottering about, or doing.
Listen. So like I told you, I've got eyes in that gym, like in that camp.
Got eyes in that gym, yeah. Yeah, I'll be seeing you.
No. I've got guys in there. They're telling me he's hungry, and I think when I have the conversation, the expression that comes out is, I'm surprised at how hungry Joshua is, considering how rich he is.
Yeah. Okay, then. Moving on to a different agenda. Frank Warren. What now for Frank? And what now for Joe Gallagher and Callum Johnson, because don't they fight next?
Callum fights on the Denzel Bentley Felix Cash undercard, and then I expect him to be talking about fighting Joe Smith pretty soon.
Yeah,
so I think that's what Callum's looking for.
That's what Joe's saying. We're going to beat this guy, then we want Joe Smith. Joe Smith can punch, according to Joe Gallagher, but they think,
Callum Johnson can punch.
Yeah, they think they've got more in the locker and they think they beat Joe Smith, and I agree with them.
Yeah, I want Callum to win.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to happen with Anthony Yard and his training situation? There's a lot of talk about what's happening with that, isn't there?
No, I told you this from day one. Tunde stays. They might get someone else in there. I think they've got James Cook in now, and that'll be it. James might just come in for a second pair of eyes, but Tunde will carry on doing what Tunde does.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care what the fans think.
Yeah, it's James Cook's him who was super middleweight champion of Britain, isn't he?
Mm.
He got an MBE as well, and James Cook, for services for charity. Is that right?
Google serves you well, Paul. Yeah.
I'm on Google. It's only what I've picked up on. I think, did he fight Watson or Ben or Eubank or any of them back in the day? I know he were in that mix when he at domestic level back in the day.
I don't even know, man. He's the guy that most London fighters have been through. He knows everyone. You see what I mean? He's plugged in, and he's a good second pair of eyes. He's an experienced head. He's seen how the best have trained. Yeah. So he's a good second pair of eyes. So yeah, they'll carry on as normal.
I'd like to see Mark Prince train fighters, to be honest.
He does, when he wants to.
Does he? Oh, when he wants to. Not as a pro trainer, though.
Yeah, as a pro trainer. But like he's got his son's foundation, right? There's foundation in memory of his son. So I think that takes up a lot of his time now.
Yeah. Who does Mark Prince train, though, as a pro, or who's he trained?
I can't even. Did he train someone like Jordan Joseph? He trained one of those guys, like a Steve Goodwin guy. That's what I remember.
But he talks good terms. Seems pretty level-headed, doesn't he, Mark Prince?
Yeah, he's right. He's a good guy.
Do you feel that Mick Ennis is going to make a good run at it this time with Channel 5? Or do you feel
if Hearn leaves Sky, Mick Hennessy is probably the guy you'd want to help you rebuild. Hennessy's got an eye for talent. Yeah, and he knows how to bring it through. But Channel 5 is a good home for him because he knows he's going to get 2 to 3 million eyes on his product every night.
Yeah.
So he's the guy that's making boxing accessible to the public.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Eubank Jr., what next for him?
Whatever he wants, man. Like he'll be the face of Sky Boxing. Him and his old man.
Do you think they'll be licking the lips at the fact that they can get in at Sky?
Yeah, listen, I'm a junior fan, I'm a senior fan. I think those guys have done boxing the right way.
I think his dad's a tosser, mate. No offense.
I'm a fan of his dad as a man. Like, having spent time with Chris, I've got so much respect for him.
Do you know what his dad did at London International? At Hilton International, not airport. Hilton International at, Victoria Quays, Sheffield.
Yeah.
His dad walked in there, right? And when they checked in, and he were walking around, going like that, around skirting boards with his finger, for checking for muck or dust and stuff like that. And
good man.
Everybody thought, what? The guy's a complete car crash, mate. Come on.
Nah.
Don't do that, do you?
I do.
And then call him for going like that and call him for cleaners to come and deal with it with a monocle, a big walking stick and a bowler hat on. That's a true story, mate, in Sheffield. Ask anybody.
Yeah. And you know what? No one could tell him shit because no one wanted to get that right hook.
The guy's a complete tosser, mate. But like I said, to say he's only got 4 wins over world champions. He didn't have a bad career, did he? He liked to promote himself, didn't he?
Look at him, man. No brain damage, nothing. Still got money.
Well, so he says. He's been bankrupt, hasn't he?
Hey, being bankrupt doesn't mean you're broke, Russ. You know this.
It means you're smart.
Yeah. When you're bankrupt, you can't owe anyone anything, or you can't pay it off, so you just have to write it off.
Yeah. Well, you just do what I do. You just set fire to letters, mate, from it being you bankrupt yourself. Why pay 600 quid to courts? I think that's about it, really. Frank Bruno's coming up to do something in Sheffield for Nicky Smedley at Black Cat Promotions, an evening with Frank Bruno. So I'm going to be filming.
Nice.
All you trolls want to come up and see your Uncle Porky. You're more than welcome. I'll be.
Please do it. Please.
Big table with Big Frank, and
please
make sure you bring.
And take a selfie with Porky as well, so we know you did it.
Hey.
Make sure they take a selfie with you, Porky. So
yeah, what happens is these people who are going to do me in, they come to meet me and then they want selfies and telling me I'm cool.
Mate, it's a new slimline physique.
I know, 13 stone 12 this morning, kid.
There you go, man. Dangerous.
20 pounds to go now. It's been a long age.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I'm dangerous now. I'm dangerous. I keep looking at the fridge. I think, well, I can't have that. I can't have that. I can't have that. There's not what I can have. I'm just waiting to go get it loosened. I've been in that check to say, yeah, I'm having it done. They relieve me of some more readies. They're good at that, these private healthcare people, aren't they?
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm all right. We've had a good chat and a good catch up. I had Rico on this morning. I had him on last night, actually, for a members video. I need to get one off you before end of month, Terry, a members one, because you haven't done one yet, a members.
Mate, well, we've got a week to do it, but yeah.
Well, we've got a week to do it. We'll do a members one early next week, and
all right, cool.
10 out, and Rico's done his. We'll keep on top of things. But it's been good to catch up with you, and obviously you've had a natter with Chris. He's your man, your big pal.
Hero.
So what you got planned for this evening, Terry?
I'm probably going to get out, do some road work, then hit the gym, and then just
jogging or just walk.
Just a light jog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far will you go?
I'm a heavy guy, man, so I'll do 3 miles. That's enough.
3 miles? That's a good jog, that, Terry, isn't it?
All right, pal. 3, but I always do it on the balls of my feet, like the Shaolin monks.
Why is that?
Just to get the calves working. You want to make sure you got the blood flow in those calves.
Is that what it does? Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of increases the threshold before which you start to cramp, which is generally good.
God, you're very deep into all this fitness, Terry, aren't you?
Hey, man, we're just trying to keep up with you, Russ.
I know. Well, you'll have to get some timber off if you want to keep up with your Uncle Porky, Terry.
No chance.
All right, then. Well, listen, you take care.
All right, you too. Take care, mate.
Great evening. Cheers, my friend.
All right, bye.
Well, that was Terry. Nice to have him on. He's always a good laugh. He likes to play the Joker at times. You never know when you're going to get Terry serious or not, but he's a good foil for me. We have a bit of a laugh. That's about it, really. This is video number 31 of the month, and I only have to do 30. So you've had a good do at me this month. Had a right do at me, haven't you? If I'd have evened them out with 20 on YouTube and 10 on members, I could have just tossed it off for the rest of the week, couldn't I? But we're giving you a bit extra. Somebody's actually sent me an email today, somebody called Trevor, thanking me for doing those 10 member videos, saying, oh, it's brilliant that, Russ. It's just like paying 59p extra for each video. Well, like I said before, and I'll say it again, the money from the members, that'll be going into the elements of the month. So we have a little play about with it in the month and do elements. So we're going to do the elements on the 29th of April. So if you could get your votes in for the helmet of the month, it's porkycorner@mail.com. Just send me your top 15. Send me your top 15 who you think is a helmet. All right. If you want to just send me one vote, you can. We'll add that up. If you want to send me 15, though, I will, because I'm going to do it this month. All right. Because Dale Nichols has let me down yet again, hasn't you, Dale? Dale Nichols is going to do wonders, but all he does is shit cucumbers. And he's not the only one in the sport of boxing that's like that. All right. All right. Peace out. Oh, for those of you who forgot, There you go. Ultra Death. I think it's £12.99 on Amazon, but if you look through it on Amazon, you might get one that's £10.99. There's also Megadeth, and it's by a company called Blair's. So all you curry people and spicy food people, all you need, remember this, you just need a little, your small little fingernail, in pan for 4 people, and then stir it and test it, and then just do it that way. Don't put too much in, otherwise you'll ruin your meal because it's very, very potent. All right. Peace out.